How
I
long are
remember
we?
to click it. All right, we are live now, though. All right, we're live here with episode 52 of the GameFi Rundown. This is our third episode in a row going live. Me and Jimbo, we've been enjoying the live thing, so I think we're going to keep this going. But Jimbo, thanks for always coming back on.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. There's not a better time there's not a better way to spend your time on a Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. than watching the GameFi Rundown.
Yeah, we are on a little earlier than usual because we had to get Paz on. He's over, I don't know, somewhere in Europe, so it's late for him already. So we didn't want to have him do this at 2:30 in the morning or whatever it was. So a little earlier to accommodate him. But Paz, thanks for joining. How you doing?
Thank you for having me, and yeah, thank you for going a little bit earlier. It's perfect time, like Jimbo said.
No problem. And if you've been here, okay, there we already go. We got a couple people commenting. I made it so the chat is actually going to show up on screen now. So go ahead and chat. I made a comment on X earlier, like I'm welcoming all the haters and fudsters out there too. I feel like I've gotten a lot more of those over the past couple weeks. But yeah, there's a lot going on with Illuvium right now, and it's not so much good news. So we'll get into that. But let me see.
Bring on the drama.
Yeah. Now I try to put a new little timer in everything, and I got to switch scenes, so I don't know how I'm going to manage all this. Let's see. Where are... Here. Oh, I didn't set up my screen.
Oh, shit.
What? Is there already... Oh, okay.
I got my greatest fan in the chat.
Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay. So, the first topic I want to bring up, because I saw this, and I know, Paz, you're a little, I guess, involved in here, because there's a little bit of beef between, was it the Hype Guild and
Phantom?
Whatever was going on during a tournament last weekend, I think. But I guess there was, everybody was required to stream for a tournament in Discord, and then some people were looking at other people's screens and having like an advantage over different people. And obviously that's not a good look, no matter how you put it. But I guess my question is, should Illuvium come up with a set of rules and a set of standards so that whenever these tournaments are played, that there are rules to go by, so that there's no cheating involved, so that whether Hype throws a tournament or it's any other tournament or any other guild throws a tournament, that everybody's kind of on the same playing field there. But Paz, why don't we start with you? Who should come up with this first of all? Should it be a thing on the DAO from the team, and should everybody comply with the same rule set?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good idea, because we need some standardized rules, especially if we give out sponsorships or sponsoring from Illuvium. It should definitely have some fixed rule sets. And yeah, it was a little bit of... I mean, they tried their best, right? I got to give them that. But it got exploited somewhat, that people were stream sniping, watching other people's stream, which is okay, because they were just doing this. I'm getting a login required. Jimbo dropped.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I'm just not going to click it. Anyway, they went just... Everybody was streaming in the Discord, right? So everybody could stream snipe each other, which would be okay if they made clear rules about it. That's the real problem I have with it. They didn't say it's explicitly allowed or prohibited, which means this created this gray zone where it seemed like insiders from Hype were stream sniping a lot, and everybody else didn't know what's the deal with it. So they should have just come in with it and said either it's forbidden, then actually nobody would have done it, because there is too much risk for just so little gain, and nobody would have cheated the system, I believe. Or just say everybody can do it. That gives a little bit of a disadvantage to people without second screens, without good internet, good computers, and so on. But yeah, there would have been better ways to deal with it. I think they learned from it, and they're going to do it next week. But yeah, if we had standardized rules across the board, then this wouldn't happen in the future. So I'm all in favor for that. To the question, who should come up with it? Should somebody be with a lot of experience? I would say Viper is definitely the best candidate, since he has spent his whole life in esports. He's our esport guy, but yeah, he didn't get onto IMC again, which we're going to come back to it later.
Yeah. And I wasn't too much involved in any of this at all. I just saw some chatter on X, so I figured I'd throw it up here to talk about. But yeah, I didn't realize that there was like it just wasn't even. Obviously, you could screen snipe because it was on Discord, but I didn't know that it wasn't like said, "Oh, you can't do
Yeah.
it." I mean, I guess that's a little different because yeah, if that was just part of their rules, even though you could do it anyways, then I could understand catching people doing it should get them banned or disqualified or something like that. But I guess that rule just wasn't in place at all.
Yeah,
Um,
and that
yeah,
just makes it. I mean, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that they just forgot about this. But yeah, it just looks unprofessional, unsportsmanlike, and yeah, I hope we don't have this again. And yeah, it would be good if there would be rules in place for this.
yeah. Again, I don't know too much about hype or anything, but did they come back and say that maybe next tournament they'll make that a rule, like you can't screen snipe, or are they kind
Um,
of just allowing it?
I'm sure they heard the backlash on X because also right the Viper posted this in the first place, and then a lot of people sided with him, and a lot of people got offended and attacked. Mainly the organizers who thought it was like a direct attack. Maybe he could have worded it a little bit better, but the fact is his criticism was valid, and yeah, so I think they heard him, they heard the other community members, and I very much think it's gonna be fixed next weekend or this weekend rather.
Yeah, yeah. And I saw a little bit of that back and forth on X. I think it's just everybody's a little frustrated right now because the market's down, things aren't going perfect, and that's probably what that was coming from. But Jimbo, what are your thoughts on the situation?
So, was there a prize pool provided ILV by Illuvium?
Yeah, they have a weekly prize pool of like 7.5 LV, and then the main prize pool of the finals will be 100.
That makes me side with Viper a little bit more, I guess. But I mean, both people probably could have acted a little bit more professional, or both sides. I think it's hard to even have like a competitive game with any kind of agency on the internet without, if you're going to stream it without having a delay. I mean, people, if you're you're not trying hard enough if you're not cheating, you know what I mean? Like if you're giving people an opportunity to cheat, they're going to. You know what I mean? So definitely there should have been a rule that people would have been kicked immediately if someone was found viewing someone else's screen share. But even regardless, they shouldn't be screen sharing on the Discord to begin with. They should be streaming on Twitch with a delay. I don't
Yeah,
understand why
yeah,
that's even a thing, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
it,
I hosting the Inferno, we've made really bad decisions too before, right? So it's just another learning experience. I don't think people should be getting their panties in a bunch. I think Viper's just an extremely competitive player, and then Hype, they just want to, they just want to protect their integrity, which I think both sides could have without making it drama. As you said, I think just with the markets down, everybody's feeling like they're on their periods, I guess. But it could be worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I
didn't even
think
think
we
about
need
that.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, can you do put a delay on Discord stream?
no.
I
Um,
doubt it.
but there is other options, right? If you want to make it properly competitive, like we did with Phantom tournaments and also with Inferno tournaments, we've seen that you can use VOD Ninja, VDO Ninja, which is just a little bit more to set up, but then you can make it work that way. I mean, in the end, we're all waiting for finally having a spectator
I was about to say
mode
that.
in Illuvium, and then we can finally host professional tournaments. I'm a little bit sad that the team hasn't pushed for more PvP and esports and stuff like this, but we're still early and other things need to be polished. So it's, I guess, not yet on the priority list, but I hope it comes very soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's on the priority list right now. One of them we'll get into right now because with the next segment. Because I mean, they're dealing with a lot. It's not just tournaments. They're getting a lot of backlash right now because of a recent update with Illuvium Zero, where the fuel production was cut by 75%, which is a pretty drastic cut, if you ask me. And I made a video about this that actually, performed pretty well. So I'm sure a lot of you watching this right now might have seen that video already. I don't think it's quite as bad as people, think it is, but it's obviously just one day you wake up and all of a sudden what you're producing on your land is cut by 75%, and you're just like, what the hell's going on? I was making this amount. I expect to sell it for X amount, and now I'm making so much less. And I think the bigger issue is the people who are saying, I want to use my fuel that I'm producing to actually go on these overworld runs, even though that hasn't been implemented yet. It has been talked about coming soon, and I think that's the big issue. Like, now I need to, you know, produce, or it takes 4 times the amount of time to be able to go on those runs. Um, and I'm pretty sure both of you guys have some zero land, even though I know you guys aren't as into it as me. But what are your thoughts on that? Paz? I mean, I guess it affects the overworld too. It's not just affecting the Illuvium Zero players.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it was a good patch for the long run, right? We just trying to let supply meet demand, and I think we are in a good way there. Obviously, it's a big shocker, and as always, it seems like we could have maybe done a better job communicating this a little bit more in depth and a little bit more with all the caveat, all the details to it. For example, explaining that if everybody's fuel is cut by 75%, then the nobody gets a big disadvantage, because if all your competitors also are cut, like you're still, like, the price goes up that percentage. But you know better than me about that. um
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
mean,
for a
it's
lot of
based on
people it
that.
was a big issue that they couldn't, that the fuel they produce takes so much longer to then fund their overworld runs.
Yeah, and another factor here that Taylor is bringing up. So they didn't just cut the fuel production. They held back tier twos and tier ones with the changes more. Um, that I mean, in a sense, yeah, I could see that. But they did also say that they, I forget exactly what the numbers were, but they made it so tier ones and tier twos can actually progress a little quicker in game. So yes, the fuel production is cut, so maybe it takes longer to have that excess fuel to sell to the market. But I think the actual game, like, progression for tier ones and tier twos did speed up a little bit. Again, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but just notice my tier one and tier two. I feel like I'm progressing a little better than I was before, even though I'm still not selling fuel to the market. I'm only selling to the market for my tier three right now. Jimbo, what do you think on this?
I don't. I think I don't care about Illuvium Zero. I think
Are you playing your land?
no, I literally haven't played it at all.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about just selling it, not because like I'm worried about Illuvium though. I don't think it's in the best state right now, but it's more just like I don't play it, so there's no reason to even have it. But I think wait, what is? Yeah, that I was about to say. I feel like this
Yeah.
change is just more like a symptom of the game not being where it should be right now.
Yep.
Like this change wouldn't have even had to been necessary if we would have been focusing on arena instead of overworld, like everybody kept pushing for. Crypto bros don't know how to make a video game. It just is what it is. And I'm not talking about the team, I'm talking about the DAO in general. Like, crypto bros have no idea what they're doing when it comes to video games, and they keep pushing these narratives which affect the minds of the team and think that they need to do this or that. And even if they know what they're doing, that's going to affect them because they have to please those people in the DAO, because the people in the DAO have a say, right? But it just is what it is right now. I mean, I don't think about it. As I said, it comes down to that.
Yeah, and I just shared a comment from SJ there. We disagree on some things, but we can agree on one thing, that, like, the big issue here is on the demand side. If in, I mean, even if the game was exactly how it is right now, if the market was more bullish, we have more people spending in the Okay, mine just like reloaded with like 20 more comments here. I don't. I'm trying to get Paz and Jimbo back in here.
Oh, I think we're back. At least
Yeah.
us two
So I
is.
don't think I ever left. It kind of like
Okay.
froze, but all of a sudden, all the comments just came back. So I don't know what's
Okay.
going on. Maybe it's the time of day. Something about the internet, because usually when
Yeah.
we do this at night, I don't have any issues. Jimbo's still not back.
I'll be back.
But
But yeah, to Jimbo's point, what he said earlier, I
Yeah.
think too that like what has been mentioned many times, that the DAO is a blessing and a curse at the same time, because I think too many cooks spoil the broth, I think is the saying, right? So many times it's hard when the community, especially a subgroup like landholders or the PvP arena heads and so other, they're trying to push for certain things to be fixed and they're very loud and the team goes for it and they kind of lose their groove, I think, sometimes with this, where they try to please the community because the community is so involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is, and we're here. Obviously, it's not perfect. We need a bit of polishing, but I think we're still the most promising game out there in the Web3 space, and we're gonna get there. And I think everybody who is still here has that trust in the team that we're gonna get there, and they're gonna fix and everything. And I think as soon as we have like all the polishing done and then all the ranked and tournament stuff in place where we can call this a home for competitive players, that's when we're there. Because that is what Axie drived off. And Axie is long dead and the whole model, but that's also how Parallel is driving right now. And basically all the games, it's more about play good to earn, right? It's not play to earn anymore. I think, yeah, that's what we need, and
Yeah.
we're gonna get there.
Yeah, and with all this, I'd be much more concerned if like the whole crypto market was pumping and we were dealing with these issues right now. And who knows, maybe in 6 to 12 months we end up in that situation where everything else is pumping and we have issues with Illuvium. Then at that point I'll be scared. But right now, it seems like there's FUD everywhere. The markets are down. No one's really into it because no one's making money right now, and I think that's where all the issues are coming from.
If shitcoins can pump during the bull run, like ILV is going to be fine. Like the price, I'm not even worried about. I'm worried about the game. I think landowners, just to tie up this real quick, and I'm sorry I'm being blunt and kind of a dick, but I think if landowners would shut up and realize that if Arena was good, they would be making more money. That's what it comes down to. That's just the bottom line. Anybody who tells you anything different doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big issue that has been, because I'm not talking to all the landholders. I'm talking to that very small minority that's very loud in the Discord, that's trying to set everything on fire and trying to overthrow the government, whatever they want to do. They are just don't see the connection of Illuvium succeeds, land succeeds. It's always us versus them, which it makes absolutely no sense. Everything that's good for the DAO, for the project, for Illuvium, for Arena, whatever it is good for every other sides of the project and also land.
Yeah, no, I completely get it.
That is a ridiculous comment, Shed. Like, I don't even understand. That's crazy.
What is that here?
Sorry, keep going. You're good.
Okay.
Don't feed the trolls.
Yeah, what I was gonna say right before we switch to the next one is that I don't know, Jimbo, you threw me off. What was I gonna say?
My bad.
I don't even know.
Got him.
But yeah, I'm not too worried about the future. I'm always bullish long term on this, but we just need to get through a little patch right here. But all right, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So
sorry to interrupt you, but just to round it up, the product is good, I think, and that's what's going to succeed in the long run. And yeah.
No, I agree, and I think it's going to keep on improving.
Yeah, this is the worst state we're in right now. It's only getting better, and for the worst state, we're pretty good.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the group that's going to help us improve here is the IMC, and we just went through a 9-month epoch of the IMC, which I think that's the longest epoch we've had for council, because there were 6 months before that. At one point, I think they were actually 3 months. So we just went through 9 months, and we finally get to see what the community felt about the IMC members. there was obviously 4 community members, and Kieran is the fifth member there. So there was a little bit of a shakeup. We had two people returning and 2 new people coming in. So we had Annie and Scrub are returning from last epoch. We had Scoriox and Jag, who are now replacing Viper and Blichter. So the new council, the new IMC is going to be Scoriox, Jag, Annie, and Scrub, and Kieran. So it definitely showed me that the community was not too happy with what was going on, because those were 4 people that I think a lot of people liked having there going into last epoch, and a lot of people just didn't like how things were going. So there was a change up on where they were voting, and they went back to Scoriox, who's been on the IMC before, and then Jag, who just got onto the ICC with me and Paz recently, and he did a good job, but he's definitely vocal in the Discord and on X. So a lot of people are seeing him, his ideas, his takes on things, and I guess a lot of people like that, so they voted him on. But Jimbo, why don't we start with you first on this one? I know you probably have some things to say. What do you think about the change up the IMC? Is it good? Is it bad? What does it mean for the community?
I mean, I love Scoriox. Not too much of a issue there. But I think not having Blichter on, I think not having Viper is a huge misstep, right? Like, we need someone who knows what they're talking about when it comes to the actual game. I think not having Blichter is just criminal. Like, I don't understand why you would ever do that. People don't understand how competent that guy is and how great he is at they don't understand all that he does in the back end. The dude's very, very intelligent and is kind of a glue, and it's very much a shame that he didn't get voted on. I think it's pretty bearish that it turned out the way it did. And don't get me wrong, I love Jag as a person. Just all of his policies I completely disagree with. They're very just crypto bro oriented, I think. But it is what it is. I'm not really happy with how the IMC turned out.
Yeah,
What can you do?
I'll say about what you were just saying about Viper. I don't even think it necessarily needs to be Viper. I think he's fine on there, but I do agree that somebody who really understands the game well and is competitive,
Yeah.
they need some representation on the IMC. Because right now, if you think about it, we got Annie and Scrub and Jag and Scoriox, and I know Scoriox, he plays a decent amount. I think Jag does a lot of the overworld, but there's not really a true competitive player there to represent that area of Illuvium. And I know, according to probably both of you guys, the competitive side of Illuvium is what's really gonna kick things off. So again, I'm not really saying I'm disappointed or I like the changes. I actually personally like that there is some sort of a change up, regardless of who is going to miss out or get in. I don't like everything just being the same. I don't want to go from we just had 9 months with these 5 people to another 9 months of the same 5 people. I like getting new ideas flowing. So that's just my quick take on that. But Paz, what do you think about that?
I definitely agree with Jimbo that it's criminal to not have Blichter on there. I think people, it's a popularity contest in the end, and Jaganite knows how to get all his Twitter followers and all his fans, and he just knows how to push people's buttons so they see him, recognize him, and I don't even want to comment if he's good or bad, but he's just good at getting popularity and just saying what people want to hear, even though sometimes he doesn't believe it, I think, or he likes to just say what people want to hear, so people like him, and that I think worked out, and that's why it's on there. And same with Scoriox, he's a content creator, right? And obviously same with me to some extent, that people just they see me, they know me, and they trust me. And oftentimes it's not for the expertise in those elections, but for popularity contest. And Blichter is very much not the guy who promotes himself or does anything like that. But everybody who is deep in the council or deep in Illuvium knows that he is the man on the council. He is the glue. He's everything. He's by far the member who I think did the best and the most work on the council every epoch, I guess. And so yeah, it's sad to see. I can see why it happened, but it's definitely a
Yeah,
mistake from the DAO, I think.
yeah, he's just not that front facing person, like you said.
Yeah.
But I do. I haven't been keeping up with the ICC anymore because I'm ineligible going into this next epoch. But I do hope that Blichter decides, if he hasn't already, to be part of the community council, because I do think he's been great, internally. He doesn't he's not seen as much as everybody else, but I think Blichter would be great for the community council. And
Yeah,
actually, just
100%.
speaking to the community council, like, so you're running again, right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Me and JP are the only one who are running from the old council, so I very much hope I or him get in, because just of continuity and just a smooth transition and everything. And yeah, seeing the result of the recent elections, I'm gonna run for IMC next epoch if I come onto ICC this epoch. Because before I was like, okay, we got Blichter, Annie, Viper. Like Viper does similar things like me, just has been more in the pro gamer scene, so he has a little bit more insights there. I think I have a little bit more people skills in collaborative stuff and things like that. And I always thought like those guys probably do a bit of a better job than me, so I won't be running for IMC. But seeing now the current lineup, I'm like, I can probably do a similar good job, maybe even better if I try really hard. Like, I don't want to discredit them, but I give myself that much credit. So yeah, I'm gonna be running for ICC this epoch. Hopefully IMC next epoch, and yeah, we'll see. I also think Viper that he didn't get on there is also sad, because we need, Jimbo said it perfectly. We need a person with PvP, with esports experience in there, because that is one of the pillars of Illuvium. That was the main reason I got into it, because I saw how Kieran was enthusiastic about esports tournaments and all of that stuff. And we had a lot of that. But yeah, if Viper could just be in there and draft up rules for good tournaments, I've been working with him on tournaments. He knows his shit. Like he's without a doubt. You ask him any questions, you wake him up from sleep, ask him any questions about the tournament structure, he's gonna make you a full document for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'd be nice to see him running for the community council as well, because even though the IMC is like truly who's making those decisions, we have, like, as both you guys know, that there are chats internally where IMC and the ICC are all talking together. So anyone from the community council can bring up what's going on in the community and make suggestions, and then the IMC sees that before they make decisions. So getting, obviously, if there's not enough room for everybody to get on that I'd like to see on, but Blichter, Viper, I think would be good for the ICC. Paz, JP, I enjoyed them. I'd like to see them in there. Jimbo, if you want to join the community council,
No.
I'll
He's
split
out.
my votes and get you in there a little bit too.
I knew you would say that.
Not
By the way,
doing
all the
so.
comments in the chat targeting Viper's character, that's not what we're talking about, right? You don't have to like him or anything else, but it's a fact that he's by far, with such a huge distance, the most intelligible on esports and all of that stuff. He's been a pro gamer his whole life, so, and he's a very smart person, and you cannot deny that, no matter how you feel about him. So that's all we're talking about
I
here.
always try to look past that character thing. I always think of the whole idea of like Trump for president. It's like, yeah, mean tweets doesn't always say what people want to say, but like, just look at the accomplishments. But all right, so let's move on here. So recently, kind of, I guess, straying a little bit from Illuvium right now, there's been some recent tokens launched, and I know Xborg was one of them. There's a lot of people in the Illuvium community from Xborg. They just had their token launch, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. I haven't looked at it since. I know today the market has been going up, so I haven't seen what it's been doing. But it's been fairly flat from what I noticed. Hasn't really pumped or dumped. There was some other recent TGEs that the coin just is getting, just, I don't even know the word, but it's just doing horrible right now because of the market. And then there's some upcoming ones, like Lizard Labs has their Liz coin that's expected to be coming out in I don't know, about a month or so, at the end of September. And I guess I just follow this up with one tweet that I saw from G-Host, the Axie Infinity CEO. I think that's his title there. But he said right now is the best time to be launching a coin, because the people who are going to be buying it are the people who care about the community, they're going to be the strongest holders of the coin. But I don't know. I've seen a lot of coins launch in the bullish phase of 2021, and they just pumped like crazy because the market was pumping. So I mean, what do you guys think? If you were a CEO of a new Web3 game right now, would you launch right now, or would you wait until things got more bullish? Pass. What do you got on that?
That's a hard one because sometimes I'm thinking about Illuvium if we should have waited longer or not, but it was kind of time for us to launch. But I think personally, I don't try to play the market because I cannot predict it. I don't think anybody can really predict it except maybe some of the experts, and even them, they're like inside trading or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. So I would just, if the product is good, bring it out there, and then we'll see what happens. Like, yeah.
Jimbo?
I'm too dumb to answer this question, to be honest. I like, how would you even time that? You know what I mean? There's so many factors that go into that. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you launch now, it'll still do well during the bull market. Everything does. Is there an opportune time to launch that would make it explode even further? Probably, but that's like probably really hard to guess. Yeah, I actually don't feel qualified to even answer it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've been thinking about this, and I don't really know the right answer either. Like I said, seeing the tweet from G Host makes sense, where he was just like, launch now, even though there's not a ton of liquidity and there's not going to be a ton of people buying in. The people who are going to set the foundation of your coin are the people who are going to be buying it. So that's a case for, launch now. But then the other case is like seeing what the coins did that launched in 2021. Even, ILV, for example, that launched right as the bullishness, came into, Web3 gaming. And
I
I
changed my
remember I
answer.
picked up. Huh? You
Launch
changed your answer?
now. Launch now, because I think ILV doing so well the last bull run hurt us a lot, actually.
Oh yeah, you think so?
I think that we built a really good foundation from it, but I think long term, like sentiment wise, it hurts us really bad. So it's so hard to say because I think Illuvium will recover, but I think our road might have been easier if we didn't launch and like have this crazy drop. But I don't know. There's so many different factors, I guess. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because anyone like who's gonna like do their research is gonna look at ILV, and even if they just look at
Hmm.
just the coin itself, they're gonna look and be like, oh, so it went up to $1,800 and now it's at $43. That's not a very good look, and obviously that was because there was a small circulating supply at the time, very bullish phase. But like, are we ever going to get back to those prices? Who knows? But yeah, if you launch, say in a time like this right now, then you'd imagine it'd be more of like a slow creep up rather than a big spike up, big spike down, and then everyone's wondering what the hell happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could go either way. I think if it's a really good
Yeah.
product and you have a big community, then launch now. If Illuvium was about to launch their token right now, I think the community's big enough where it would do well. Something smaller, I might be afraid of launching now, the market dipping even lower, and then just really screwing yourself. But we could go either way on that.
Hard to say.
Yeah, hard to say either way. But then talking about a nice little segue into this next segment here. So a Web3 game that didn't, I guess you could say it's a fail at this point, or at least the Web3 side of it, was Dimensionals. Now I wasn't too familiar with Dimensionals. I know they did have a collaboration with ETH Lizards, so I was a little familiar. Hold on, let me change this. There we go. Yeah, so they did something with ETH Lizard, so I was a little familiar with it. I remember jumping into their Discord, looking at it, being like, it looks like a pretty decent game. I didn't know too much about it. But recently the CEO or whatever just came out and said that they're ditching the whole Web3. They're moving to Web2. And it really just screwed over all the whole community and the people that were, paying attention and really involved in this game. And I don't know how they're going to survive at all, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like if you promoted yourself and it spent, I don't know, possibly years saying you're a Web3 game, you're going to have this Web3 integration, NFTs, a coin, and then you just changed it up on everybody, like you're going to lose the people that you already had, and it's going to be hard to gain new people at that point. So I don't know much about dimensionals, but I would say they're probably screwed at this point. But I mean, what are your thoughts on that? And would you ever take a Web3 game that has been struggling and just give up on Web3?
That's a rough one, right? If you know you're gonna go down to zero, might as well, I guess. But it's not gonna go much better for you in Web 2. Like people are gonna look you up, they're gonna see your history, and they're just not gonna like it. I think this has to be planned from the beginning. Something maybe with like Parallels approach, where they split basically the experience for free to play player. It's like a normal Hearthstone game, and then if you want to go into the Web3 side of things, as like a saving approach, like saving the project. I don't think that's really gonna work out. But you never know. Like if it's a good product and just maybe the economies were fucked up, sure. Like just bring the game out to the people and see whether if they like it. Like gamers, after all, will be gamers. If it's a good game, it will work. But since it was a Web3 game, I don't think it's a good game. There's just not many good games in Web3, right?
Once you get rid of the Web3 aspect, then you're competing against like a much like stronger competition.
You're like, competing against 5 million indie developers plus all the big studios and everything, right?
Yeah, it's like even Illuvium. Like in my opinion, they're one of the top games in Web3. But if Illuvium just gave up on Web3 and went to Web 2, like they wouldn't be one of the top games in Web 2. They'd have so much more competition. But like the Web3 aspect is what makes them different and innovative and unique. And you put a good game with the Web3 and people are gonna play it. But you just give up on that, and then you're just in the same boat as thousands or hundreds of thousands of other people just trying to make a game. Which,
yeah, as much as Web3 games are getting shamed by Web2, it's also nice to be in this niche where you are easily something special because the competition is not so hard. I think Illuvium does it well as well, because you could say our Gauntlet mode is a complete Web2 game, right? You download the game, you log in, and you play it. Like, you don't ever have to do anything with crypto. And once it's polished up, we actually have a good alternative for TFT where you can zoom into the characters. The characters look absolutely amazing. Like, the art is on top of the industry standard, like above that even. And yeah, it's just a different spin on the auto battler genre. Will it take over TFT? Probably not, because Riot is just this huge mogul with a huge IP and those diehard fans and everything. But does it have good chances to compete? Sure, like we can get a lot of people in there. And yeah, then we have all the other stuff that people can check out. So I like that approach.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking I wanted to try something before we even closed out on this. I forgot. I made this new little poll thing, so I wanted to try it out. So this was I was going to put this up back when we were talking about fuel. So, and I don't even know how this works. I guess you can either do hashtag. You could put the hashtag in the comments, and maybe it pops up here. So if you think that the change in fuel was a good idea, put hashtag yes. If you think it screwed over the landowners, hashtag no. If you think it screwed over everybody, hashtag ugly. Let's see if we can get this going in here.
Maybe one more side detail to this. Do you know if since the update, I know the fuel price have been going up, but are they now going down again consistently? Like, is it on a downward trend? Have we not met demand yet with the supply? Or the other way around, I guess?
Hold on, sorry, 1 second. Maybe
because that is really the key point, right? If this change balanced out the economy of oversupplying for the demand, then it's good. Otherwise, it didn't help much, and I guess it's better than nothing. But yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, the whole UI with the fuel exchange there's issues with that, and I think that's one of the biggest issues there. Because what I've noticed is that, well, first of all, how it works is when you're selling the fuel, there's not really a lower rail, but there is a minimum price that you can sell at, and that gets lower as every time somebody sells at that low price, it drops a little bit. And I think people got so used to only being able to sell their fuel at the floor that they just are continuously selling at the floor, even though because the supply went down, you can actually sell higher than the floor right now. Because even what I did just a couple hours ago, I picked a number slightly above the floor, sold off like 100 units of fuel, sold in a second. So I sold it for higher. And you can definitely sell your fuel right now for, at least 50 to 100% over the floor, and it will sell. So the price is going up, but from a user standpoint, you can't really tell. You kind of just need to sell a little bit at one price, and then if it works, sell it a little higher. But the whole idea of cutting the supply because the demand is the issue, it is making the price of fuel go up a little bit. But we are getting more fuel onto the market at any point.
We need that order book, right? That's going to solve a lot of problems. If we can actually see what's going on.
Yeah, and the whole idea with the whole bonus, like you can't tell what the bonus is. You just buy something and then you just got like this bonus.
They fixed that, right? We see now the bonus before you buy it, which is
is there? I haven't even noticed that.
So that's good. They implemented it a few days ago. That's really good.
Yeah, at least you can calculate that on your own. But I never liked the whole idea of the bonus anyways. I'd rather just see the true price of what it is and then just decide from there if I want to. I'm not one of those people where it's just like, oh, I got a bonus. I feel so good about myself that I bought something for a bonus. I just want to see what the actual price is.
Yeah. No, it should just say the floor price. It's just a weird workaround. It's not very user-friendly.
Yeah. All right. So I guess it was a good test for the poll. I was hoping it was going to show me like percentages and how many people actually voted. But either way, it looks like everybody thinks it's screwed to everybody. And only maybe a couple of people thought it was good for the economy. Again, I don't think I would actually be in any, like I should have given more options here because I don't think it screwed over anyone really, but I also don't think it was the best approach. But yeah, cool. I just wanted to try that poll. I need to learn to like navigate this whole system better. All right. Anyways, Ghost, you got some ghosts? What flavor is that?
Yeah, I was just answering one of the comments. They were like, what's the energy drink of the day? It's the Ghost Orange Cream, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering.
Stop drinking that bullshit, Jimbo. It's water. Water all day, every day. That's all you need.
I have water right here. I'll do both.
I eat pretty healthy and I keep a pretty healthy lifestyle, but like I have like a Bang or a Rain or some kind of energy drink like almost every day. That's just
guilty pleasure.
You gotta at least have one thing.
Huh?
You gotta at least have one thing. You know what
guilty
I mean?
pleasure.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's my guilty pleasure. Like I do like fasting all the time. I eat a lot of like meat. I try to stay healthy. I work out, but like the one thing every day is just like I gotta have that energy drink because I'm not a coffee guy.
Hey, fair enough. Better than crack.
Yeah, exactly. There's much worse things I could do. But anyways, look at this. What is S-Jed saying here?
Dude, all of them were just talking about my mom just a second ago. Like, it was wild.
Come on, defend her. Aren't you a good son, Jimbo?
That is crazy.
Give him shit.
Bringing back the mom jokes.
Hey, based.
Good old mom jokes.
I know, right?
Trad moms. Yeah. All right, anyways. I know we're just shooting shit already. So that's the end of episode, what do we at? 52 live. I do like doing this live.
It's cool. I like
Even though I will tell you, like, I am no pro at this. Trying to manage, making sure everything's going good and putting up different things and trying to read the comments.
Oh, you did great. It's a good experience.
I'm glad Jimbo's here, keeping up with the comments and commenting back. But Paz, thanks for joining. Like you mentioned earlier, Paz is going to be running for the ICC. Voting is going to take place
28
in a couple days on the 28th.
In a week.
Is it really? Oh, so it's a whole week away.
Yeah.
All right. So look at what Paz is putting out. JP's another person returning. Anyone else going for the ICC? Make sure you get in a vote because your vote matters, right, Jimbo?
It does, especially
True.
because we have I forgot the name for it, but you have a lot of voting power with just one LB token stake. Because the more you have, the less voting power you have per token. So yeah, it really does matter every single vote. When I went for gaming council, I lost by 0.2%, which I would have gotten if I voted for myself. We kind of screwed that one up. So
Why didn't you vote for yourself? That's like the number one rule.
Yeah, it was. It's a long story. I'm gonna talk about it next time. I got screwed.
All right. Any final words, Jimbo?
Nope. Sorry, I was a dick today.
No, it's good.
You're all good, brother.
Whatever you bring to the table, I like. All right, guys.
I have some last words. This Saturday, Phantom Bounty Hunt. As every Saturday, 4 p.m. UTC, we have community tournaments happening in the Illuvium Discord. There is less people showing up now than on mainnet, which is weird. So I hope to see you all there. Every week we give away like $1,000 in fuel. And I would just love to see more free-to-play players who can finally experience the paid version of the game and just see some new faces in there. I like sending out money to people who have never sent money to. So yeah, I hope to see you guys all there. 4 p.m. UTC in the Discord voice channel. Illuvium is going to retweet it.
Yeah,
it's a super fun time.
And if there's less people playing, there's a better chance for you to win something, right?
Yeah. Best place to earn. Get rich fast.
Yeah, right. That's what we all want here, right? A good game, but we also want to make some money. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching. Jimbo, Paz.
Thanks for having me.
And me and Jimbo, at least, we'll see you back here in about 2 weeks. So thanks.
See you guys.